what should be and what is are vast chasms apart.
Well, yeah.
But the whole point was that doesn't happen. You can't bring down those towers. I thought that's impossible. They're built for taking aircraft, big aircraft, striking, and a fire's not going to hit that metal and melt it. And
Think of all the people that they tricked. I mean, that's pretty bold. I mean, they had to have courage of thinking that they were going to be able to trick so many people. I mean, that's a serious thing.
Well, the thing is, they thought they had. Well, they did. America didn't stand up to it. Espionage is the name of the game. U.S. does it against its own people and everybody else to boot. You heard about the story of them espionage on their alliance in Europe. Oh my, they've been doing it since World War II and before. It's not like it's anything new. And when it becomes public, oh, we have to do something about it. Yeah, you got to talk about it and work out some stuff. You can go back to doing the same thing. It's factually what happened is the people were duped. And our own government, with the help of a major government behind them, which probably would smell more like Israel than anywhere else, was the one behind it. No Muslims, the United States,
Well, that's why
Israel.
Would make them back.
So hello, this is Walter Bradley, and this is Heart Talk. It's hard to imagine, but it's been 12 years since 9/11. And we all reminisce now, and it's almost like a faint memory. But for me, it's as stark as the Kennedy assassination was earlier for the American public. And how similarly they seem to be joined with conclusions that are far from the truth and quickly arrived at with studies and commissions, like the Warren Commission. And then after 9/11, they did a study and they came up with all the pertinent facts and brought out a report which was totally apart from the truth, in my opinion. So these things bear relevance one to another, JFK and 9/11, and looking how they turned out and how they progressed with the investigations. Have you looked at the similarities? Have you looked at the ways they tried to confuse the people and investigators? Well, that's all there, and you can see it for yourself. And with the comparisons that you look at, even way back to Forrestal, you will begin to see eerie coincidences, I guess you would call it, and then look at the people around who had actual knowledge and look at the death rate, and we go, wow, how strange is that? But then again, it's pretty common when you're dealing with these types of issues. You could almost say like Rod Sterling, when you get into these types of things, you're stepping into the twilight zone. So if you're interested in these queries of the mind, which deal with, excuse me for saying, conspiracies and this type of thing, maybe it's something you need to look at. Look at it with me. I'm Walter Bradley. This is Heart Talk.
Where's Justin? Where'd you go?
There will be times we disagree. I'm gonna love you forever and ever. If I'm not around, remember me. I'm gonna love you forever and ever. Where do I find peace? In my inner mind streets are full of the helpless. They don't know what wealth is. It's not in your pockets or anything that you own. You won't find it in another person. Look in your soul. Why am I selfish when I try to be selfless? A man needs some money, but still nobody will help him. They think he's on drugs because he talks to imaginary people. Like a thug, on the inside he's equal. I don't want to see a sequel, I just want to see peace in the streets. I got a beef when the children don't eat. I put my heart on my sleeve, I feel the stab when you bleed. And I need to slow it down, never slow down the beat. I'm a freak, I'm a phony to anyone that don't know me. They feed the queen anything and give the children baloney. They count the GMO seeds, I count the seeds for the truth of everything I've ever been through, all for the youth. There will be times we disagree. I'm gonna love you forever and ever. If I'm not around, remember me. I'm gonna love.
Welcome back. This is Walter Bradley, and this is Heart Talk. And it's really hard to believe that 2001, it's been 12 years since the Twin Towers went down in New York City. And it is amazing to me. I was on my way into work on the bus, and the bus driver announced that the Trade Center has been hit. And I didn't know what he meant. And then he said the World Trade Center towers had been hit by a plane. I was amazed, and I thought, well, that would be hard to do. And then, later on, I was amazed. And I wondered how that could happen. And as I went into work and looked at the events, and then eventually saw both towers dropping as if in a controlled demolition, that was my thought. I thought, that looks like a demolition, not a catastrophic failure due to a plane crash. So I was amazed at it. And as I looked at it, I realized this didn't look right. And then an interview with the owner, and then Building 7 had to be brought down, in which it was not struck, hit, or really under any duress from the failure or the hitting of the planes into the buildings. So it struck me as not only odd, but out of place and certainly questionable at that time. So as I pondered these things, I began to look at them, and then I noticed there was a query of architects throughout the United States, from the universities no less, making comments about how this was not adding up based on the structural steel, and then evidence that came out after the fact and was pictured in videos, pictures taken at the scene, and witnessed by the firefighters and the policemen on the scene. So putting all those factors together, it adds up to this was a questionable thing that happened and needed further investigation. So in all of this, we need to really step back and really take a real look, apart from these studies that they have done already and the report that the government put out, and actually look at the facts. And the facts indicate that this was not a normal event. It was not an event in which two commercial planes struck the towers and they collapsed under the fires brought on by them. We have a problem of understanding the truth because it gets twisted so quickly. So why don't you stay with us here on Heart Talk, and we'll look at the truth from the angle of perspective to get a clear image of what it is. Join us and we'll bring it back to you right here on Heart Talk. And dwelling in the desert for 40 years. And then one day when the fire appeared in the bush, it caught Moses' eye and he went in to look at it because the bush didn't burn up like normal. And when he got near, it was the voice of the Creator and Father Yah saying, "Take off your shoes, you're on holy ground." And he goes, well, who are you? Oh, well, what? And he says, I've seen the sufferings of my people Israel, which he still does. And he said, I'm going to send you back to lead out my people Israel. And Pharaoh there will harden his heart. And I am going to do signs and wonders there to chasten and judge them for their evil. And then by that, I'm going to bring you out to a land flowing with milk and honey in the area of Canaan, which was promised to them and their father Abraham 400 so years before. So he didn't want to do it. He went back, and he did it anyway. After the father got really upset with him when he said, I don't speak well, and I'm not too good with speaking, and I don't know if I could really do this. And the father demonstrated, he said, I have made your mouth, go, I will give Aaron to help you speak. And so he went back, and the plagues and all of the great destruction that was on Egypt is recorded and known there. And it's still, there are marks of that still there. And Pharaoh's army, they find chariot wheels underwater out there. I wonder where that came from. And so we find that Moses takes Israel out, and then all of a sudden,
wheels, really?
Yeah, in the ocean. And
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, they did. And they don't talk much about it. But then he let them out, and all of a sudden they began complaining because they're suffering out there a little bit. It's not where it's easy. It was hard because they complained about all the labor they were doing. Then they get out, and then they complain about all they don't have when they get out there. And the father judged them. They cried for meat. He said, okay, have all you want. He slew many of them for that evil. And some were lustful for different things. Achan, lusting for gold and stuff that he was not to take. Took it and did it. And then they go up to the mount where Moses goes up to get the 10 Commandments. The law of Moses, as I said, in the first 5 books that he put down how Israel was to live. And the 10 Commandments and the Sabbath. And how they were to live by providing sacrifice for their sin. And to picture the coming one, which when Moses came down, he said, there will be one like me in the future coming, which was prophesied in Genesis, where it said that in that judgment that the Father put on Adam and Eve, that he would judge the serpent through his son, through the coming seed of the woman, would crush him, and that serpent or Satan would bruise his heel.
Interesting.
And what happened at the mount was Moses went up there, and they thought he was gone. They didn't know where he was. They thought, oh, he's lost, he's gone, he's not coming back.
Wait, so Moses led the people out
up to Mount Horeb, the
Okay,
mount
but-
where he served.
But how did he lead them out? How did he get them out?
How did he get them there?
Like how did he get them? How did he part the Red Sea? What led up to that?
Welcome back. This is Heart Talk, and this is,
Greg Fernandez Jr.
and I'm Walter Bradley, and we're here to talk tonight, Greg, again about
911, a very touchy subject for most people.
especially if you're in the government and really know what happened.
Yeah.
Maybe that's true.
Or
I'm being facetious.
Anyone who is part of the cover-up is probably not.
Cover up. Why would they cover up the truth?
Why would they cover up the truth? Well, probably because
Didn't they tell us the truth about 9/11?
They did not tell us the truth.
I think
that's
I agree
pretty
with you.
clear.
I think I agree.
911 is a declaration of war. Whoever
Well-
did it, signal for the new world.
And it was a beginning.
It was a beginning.
And now we are 12 years into their plan.
And that's
That
nothing.
was not
and
the
that's
only
nothing.
part of the plan.
No.
11 years after, in 11, which turns to 2012, 2013. From this point on, what will they do? What is the next event? There will be another, in my opinion.
Question number 1.
Question number 1 is,
Where were you on 9/11?
I was on the bus,
You were
going
on
to
the
work,
bus.
when I
Now,
heard about it.
When you first heard it, what was your initial reaction?
I didn't believe it.
I thought it was.
I thought this was a misrepresentation of the news, some kind of
What did they say? Was it a drive? Was he?
The bus driver said, they got the World Trade Center. They hit the World Trade Center. I'm going,
Was he mad? Was he sad?
no, he was shocked.
He was shocked.
There was shock.
Was he loud? He was pretty loud.
Yeah, he yelled it to the whole bus.
Really?
He was announcing.
Oh, so he wasn't like on a speaker? Or
No,
anything.
he
was just announcing.
He just
Right.
announced
I
it.
see.
And I was going, what?
How did the people respond?
Shocked? Like, what? Everybody's kind of confused at first. Like,
A
what?
lot of
Yeah.
confusion.
And shocked. Like, what happened? And immediately you want to get off the bus and go to find a news source to look at what the reports are.
Do you remember the first time on the news that they reported that Osama bin Laden was a suspect in the planes hitting the World Trade Center? Do you remember?
That wasn't quite a bit after.
Okay, because I heard it that same day. I heard it that morning.
I didn't hear
I
it.
heard it that morning.
Where did you hear it? On the MSNBC?
Yeah, I think it was on CBS.
CBS.
Because I was mostly watching them because I had given up on the other ones. But they also, later on, they showed Building 7 fall. They showed a clip of Building 7 falling down the same way. And I didn't think anything about
And
it.
in Britain, they had reported that the World Trade Center had gone down 30 minutes before it happened.
That is Building 7, yeah. You will find whatever you are looking for. So make sure you are searching for truth, not for your version of it.
And what he means is you have to look in the word of Yah and the Lamb.
No, even
Because
if you
that's the
don't,
truth.
but even if you don't, everything else will lead you back to that word because it is the only thing that stands as truth. It is the
It's
only
right.
rock.
It is the only truth.
Everything else is
A lie.
A lie. It is a
Absolutely.
lot of questions.
And you may disagree with that, but in the end, you will bow to it.
And that's fine, but that is your free will. And so I don't like when people say that we're Christians are very forceful, we're very this, we're very that. No, the real Christians, man.
It's just reality.
It is a choice. It is free will. You know, you choose if you want to follow him or if you don't. No one is going to make you. People can't even force you. That doesn't make it true. You have to do it of your own free will. You have to want to seek him out. If you don't, then it's just fake. And that's why a lot of people find themselves in church and they find themselves, just, oh man, I don't want to go to church. I don't know why I'm here, blah, blah, blah. Or they go as if it's like it's a second job and they go there and for that hour or whatever, they're really into
They feel
it.
obligated
and then
because
after
they
that,
know it's a good
forget
thing
it.
to
Right.
do.
But the whole thing is that we have to worship every day. We have to worship, we have to
worship. It has to be our life.
in everything that we
The word
do.
be your life.
And I can't look at things like 911 and JFK and say, well, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to focus on the word because the word is telling me
To confront them
to do something.
and tell
There's
them that they're
something here.
liars.
And that
Our American government is a lying government.
it is, and it really is. And what we have seen is that this is a global takeover, and you can see the New World Order, and the New World Order is the devil. Everything leads back to that. So I don't spend a lot of focus on the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds
Because they're just
that.
pawns.
They're
little
just
puppets.
they're just
They're
people
nothing.
too.
They're
Now,
just
it
like
is-
us.
It is possible.
They're
that
rich, but they're just like us.
they could be the devil's bloodline. I don't know, but
Doesn't matter.
I do know
They'll still lose.
that there is one source of evil and there is one source of good, and that's what we're talking about here. I want to follow the source of good, and Jesus Christ is that source. Everything that I've done, everything that I have been through is always there for me. Always, without saying one word, without being in front of me. It is an amazing power that you cannot put in words. So you just roll with it because this is where he has put us. He has really shown us that there is something here. The word is real, and not only that, but there are a lot of people contesting against that word. And let them. We're going to stand here and say, this is where we stand. We stand with the word. We're not right, but we know that the word is right. And
Yeah, because we all fail, and if you look for us and look for failure and problems and trouble and say, "Oh, they're guilty,"
you don't have to look far.
we're born this way.
It's
I was born this way, like you, And there's nothing you can excuse yourself no more than I can. But the answer is in the Word. Whether you can accept it or not, it is something that you must deal with, and you will bow, because it is written, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is the King of Kings, and He is the Adonai, the ruler of all things, the Elohim of the beginning.
And that's it. And we have that choice where we can act like there is no God. We can act like there is no
Or
Christ.
stick our head in the sand.
That's fine. But we're not going
We're not
to
gonna push it on
to
you.
do that. We're not going to do that. And,
Absolutely not.
and just by us standing here and saying that this is true, that is not us pushing it onto you. The only way that we would be pushing it onto you is if we're trying to make you believe what we believe. You know, at any time, somebody can be saved. Somebody can, redeem themselves. They can seek redemption at any time. It's never too late, no matter what you've done. And that is the gift of the Holy Spirit, and that is what has really set me free. Is no matter what, it doesn't mean I'm going to go out and do a lot of bad things, but I know that no matter what I do, God is going to love me, and so that love keeps me from doing a lot of bad things.
Like
Not
staying
only
out
to
too late
myself.
when he needs to get home and be with his wife. Yes, we heard you.
So we will wrap
So we're
this
trying
up.
to wrap it up here. Bringing home the point.
Bring it home. There we are. But
Maria is waiting. Yes. Never mind what I said. That's his wife's name, and I'm being a little bit pushy now because it's late.
That's okay.
What time is it?
it's 9:30 now.
That means you need to get home and deal with, what's her name again? What was her name? Yeah, that girl.
That one.
Yeah! You see, I'm a pushy guy because I believe marriage with a man and a woman, he's a man, he goes home to his woman. Now, those who go into your partner, you can do that, and you have the right to do as you see fit, as it says, as doing right in your own eyes. But there is a way that seems right in the sight of man, but leads to death. That is one of them. And I don't hate gay people. I know a lot of them. A friend of mine, a roommate, was gay. But he was not a practicing gay because he believed the word of Yah in the land. And he departed from it. Why? Because it's a sin. And it's repugnant and an abomination to practice what is not natural. And that is unnatural, unhealthy, and not right. And with due respect to those who are in the lifestyle and deceived, because that's what it is, it's a deception. You're living a lie. And come out of the lie to live true. You say you're being real to yourself and all of this other stuff. It is not being real to live as a gay man or as a lesbian, because that's the untruth that is coming out. Unfortunately, that's what the word says. Now, I'm like you. I'm a sinner. Whether I'm heterosexual and practice heterosexual sin, it's no better than yours. And I'm born this way, like you. And I have to account for my sin, like you, because that's what the Father says. So I'm no better than you. So start thinking radically truth instead of a foolish, oh, that's not true because I like my sin, so I have to not believe in God because I like my sin. That's all you're doing. Don't do it. It will not profit you, and in the end it will lead you to hell.
That's it.
This is Walter Bradley. This is Heart Talk, and this is
Greg Fernandez Jr.
And we're looking forward to talking with many others. I've got interviews coming up with some wonderful people dealing with motorcycles and motorcycle safety. So won't you join us? Her name is Connie, and I'll be looking forward to you hearing her. She's a dear heart. We look forward to it on Heart Talk. I'm Walter Bradley.
Greg Fernandez Jr.
Good night.
Thanks a lot.
And they do all this stuff to distract us from the real thing, from the real game. And I know that. All of this is just it's like a painted picture of an event. Nothing's happening when you're looking at it.
Yeah,
But the event that happened did do something.
it's really hard to trick that many people at the same time, and to keep that lie going on for as long as they did. Now, definitely.
Well, there was immediate ramifications. People went, That's bogus.
I don't know.
There was a lot.
There was. I don't know if there was a
Architects, people who knew, especially those who worked on the building,
Yeah.
knew. They knew. That's impossible. So they were still alive. People were there. I'm sure many of them are not now.